Hey everyone, it's Chris from Stamp Blessings, and I'm here today for my Workshop Wednesday, where I'm going to be showing you all about paint stripes. Well, not really all about paint stripes, but I'm going to be showing you how I made this card here. And then with the second generation, I made this card here. So I did just get a warning that I have poor reception, so we'll see what happens. It might come and go. But just as a reminder, we've got our January-April catalog that's still available. So many great things are in here. If you're looking for the Butterfly Hybrid Embossing folder, that's coming back April 7th, or the week of April 7th. And this week, Stampin' Up! Demonstrators from all over are meeting on stage for getting ready for the next new base catalog. Can you believe it? That's how close we are. Wow. So this is Painted Stripes, and it's a new online exclusive set from Stampin' Up! Just went live, I want to say on the 4th. Yeah. And this is another set, Textured Notes, that is an online exclusive that also went live on the 4th, and I love them. Oh, and I've got one more here. You are remarkable. So I did use one of these sentiments in my one card. So anyway, today is going to feature, though, this Painted Stripes. And what I did was, it was kind of like a ombre look. And I use Close to My Heart inks because I'm still working on getting all of my Stampin' Up! Inks. So I would say, if you're looking for these colors, I used Calypso Coral, the Crushed Curry, and the Daffodil Delight. And I found that they were really a pretty combination. So that's what I'm going to do today, and then I'm going to come back and try a Triadic color combination that I was kind of playing with. And I haven't tried it out, so we're going to try it live on camera, which is probably pretty dangerous. So, but I want to show you how easy these two cards are to make. And I don't always make two cards. In fact, I hardly ever do make two cards at a time. But because I did first generation and second generation, it allowed me to make two cards and in no time at all. So I'm going to go ahead and get my inks ready, and I'm going to start with the lightest at the top. And I'll just drag my ink pad across the top and maybe kind of just tap it down. Okay, and these stripes are a little bit textured, so you get kind of an uneven look just naturally. Then I'm going to go with my darkest color and start at the bottom with that. And I'm going to drag it first and then just kind of stamp it around. There's two crows outside my window here having a field day in my garden. They're pulling straw apart and just getting ready, I think, for a nest. I had another bird nest starting in my mailbox. Can you believe it? So, and then I'm going to just go in now here. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have gotten this lighter ink into the darker. So next time I think I would stay in order light, medium, and dark. We'll see what happens when I go ahead and ink that up. So I've prepared my paper, and it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I can trim it down after the fact, pick out some of the best parts. I also like to give this here a quick spritz. So even though this is not watercolor paper, it's going to still kind of give it a watercolor look. I'll go ahead and lay this down real quick, and I just like to walk my fingers around so that it's not 100% even, but just a nice coverage. And so there you can see I didn't get it a lot on the ends, but when I trim it, that's where I can trim first. And I'm going to spritz without re-inking, and I'm just going to re-spritz it lightly and go for my second generation. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead. This time, since I obviously missed those corners, I'm going to make a little bit more effort to do that. And this time, because it is second generation, and taking a little bit more time to go more thoroughly. And so there you go. That is really a nice second stamping. So here we have first generation and second. Well, before I do anything else, I want to make sure I clean this off, because yesterday, one of the reasons I ended up with the smaller panel is when I went back in to do some stamping, I hadn't cleaned off my stamp very well, and so whatever color was there, you know, stayed. So I'm just doing this really quick. This is a stamped chamois left over from my Close to My Heart days, and I'm gonna just try and take a napkin real quick to get in those crevices so that I don't pick up any other colors when I try it again later. All right, so I'll set that aside, and we'll just start working on these two panels. Now they are a little bit damp, and at this point, if you were working on your card, you could set it under a heavy book. You could go ahead and take a heat gun and go ahead and, you know, wave it on there. But I'm gonna just keep on crafting because I wanna show you just really how simple it is. So I jumped right into all of this, and I forgot to say, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I won't be doing any shout outs, but I always come back and I answer all your comments and kind of get back with you. I'll also list all my supplies right above or below, depending on if you're on Facebook or YouTube watching this. And I just love to see how you know, what your comments are. So, and be sure to like and subscribe. Well, I couldn't help but use one of my favorite sets, the mixed florals, and I hadn't really used these two images. You've seen me use these two, but not these two, and I thought they would be perfect for this really bold color here. So I've gone ahead and prepared them by die cutting them out, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp them with some black ink. So let's see, I like Memento for that, because then I can go ahead and color it any which way. In this case, I'm not going to be adding any color, but let's go ahead and do that. And just, so this is a little bit tricky doing it with the camera overhead, but it worked out pretty good. I like that. And then I'll get the next one. And I really like these because you can leave them uncolored for a real bold look, or you can take some time and color them in. In this case, like I said, I'm going to leave them uncolored. And I'm going to just kind of come in here, try and line that up before I go set down. I don't know about you. Do you die cut first and then stamp, or do you like to stamp and then die cut? This one came out really well too, so I'm really pleased with that. The next thing I did is I did add some like faux paint splatters or ink splatters on my card. I'm gonna just compare the two for you really quick. In this one, the really first generation, the darker one, I went with black ink spots because I really wanted the focal to be the point. And on here, if you look, I actually did them tone on tone. So whatever color I had stamped those stripes in, I went back with these little blotches and did them that way. So I'm going to just quickly do that in black. And I've got those prepared. These are from the Elements of Text set, which I really love. I like the text different options, and then I like those two ink splatters. They're pretty significant, pretty hefty, so we'll go ahead and just do that really quick. And we'll just do it randomly. And I have both ink splatters ready, so I'm gonna, just to make sure I have some variety. Oops. If you need any products, you can find them at chrisfranco.stampinup.net. And I have a loyalty rewards program where you keep track of your orders, and once you hit $250, you can pick out a free stamp set worth $25. But I do need you to keep track of it for me. I can't really keep track of it. And then the other thing that I have is I mail out card kits as a thank you for each order placed on my website of $50 or more. So this month is the beautiful butterflies. I'm going to just take a second and clean off these little guys because I might be using them with this here, and I want to just show you without ruining my card and being a disaster. So the next thing I did is I have a black strip of cardstock, and it measures 1 inch by 4. So that means that I can go ahead and trim that down. And let's do that really quick because I do like to have a white layer. So I'm cut this at 4 1/4, and I'm gonna just go ahead. You know what? I'm gonna use this side because, oh no, they do both have inches on there. Never mind. So I'm gonna line it up with the 4-inch mark, and then I'm gonna use my cutting blade and just come down quickly like that. And I think that I'm going to cut off this side because it's not quite as nice. So I'm going to go to 5 1/4 inches there. And now we're ready. My panel is good to go. And that looks pretty nice. I like it. I bought this cutting. I usually have a chopper, I don't know, a paper chopper. So, but this I bought when I was in Wisconsin staying with my parents, and I love how great it cuts, and it scores too. So anyway, I want to white emboss my sentiment, and I did that ahead of time. I picked out the thank you from Textured Notes. So the size is nice because you can get in any kind of size sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down and give it some glue real quick. And I can move it around so that I get like the best part. You know, I can show. And by using this grid pattern, I'm making sure that it's more or less lined up, and it is. Okay, and now I've just prepared these 2 pieces, and I can go ahead and add them on. And if I felt like I hadn't stamped in the right spot, I could always add one of the little, this is a ladybug, and that is from the mixed floral set. So actually, let's go ahead and stamp this little guy here. And it's just, that way you can just see how easy it is to fix things up if you're not 100% happy with them. I always say that there's just happy mistakes. So I'm gonna get my butterfly here, put a little ink on it. I'm gonna actually put it there so that I can see it and line it up a little bit easier, I think. No, I think I missed that guy completely. I did, but I did die cut extras, so let me just see. I got nervous and started rushing. And I'm gonna try it one more time. I'm trying to get it right there. I think this time it worked out perfect. So there you go. So now, if I felt like it wasn't, you know, if it was kind of lopsided, and that way I get my 3 items in too. So let's go ahead and just attach this to a card base, and you can see how quickly this card came together. And I'm gonna just put this over here. Oh, and you know, my my Stampin' Up! Cutter actually has a score blade, which I have not even tried out. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put this at 4 1/4 and just score it really quick. Nice, look at that, beautiful. And then I can go ahead and use my bone folder, and that's how quickly I have a nice card base. And so I'm surprised pleasantly how this cardstock really did not warp, and that's because I used some water, but I didn't overspray it. You know, I didn't like let the paper soak. So that was important. And now I can just set it under something heavy to dry. Well, I'm just gonna add a little glue to get this to stay down where I want it. And I just love the black and white, the contrast of just having the black and white. All right, and just kind of get that down in place. And this next piece, and there we go. And I could either leave it with or without the ladybug. Since I took the time to stamp him, I'm gonna go ahead and put it right there. And I'm working a little bit messily here on camera, but that's how pretty. Look at how fun that turned out. Well, that would allow me now to just work on this, and I could, this is nice enough that I could do a whole panel. What happened to me last time is I got in this ink and it was really, really messy. So I ended up having to chop it off, but I'm gonna just show you how I did the tone on tone real quick. And as I said, I'm still using some close to my heart inks until I have completed getting everything that I want, which is a long list. And I'm gonna do some stamps there because that was really white. And then we'll go one more on the bottom. And I could even do two down there. I think I'm going to go here. I like that. And then another one right there. So look at that, that looks great. And again, I could trim it down. I could just use pieces on my desk. I like to do that. I have like a circle cut from Spotlight of Nature. I have a butterfly left over from the beautiful butterflies. I cut extra foliage from before. I could easily stamp this and add that. And then just put a sentiment strip. So lots of fun things to do with this card. Well, let's see what happens with my Triadic ink color combination that I wanted to try. And I'm gonna bring my Stamparatus back. And I like this because it was nice and strong and really held my stamp well, but you could just use a regular stamp block. And take just a minute and wipe off the ink from these here. And now for my ink combination, I am going to try crushed curry, a Lost Lagoon, and berry burst. No, it's actually melon mango. So I'm gonna see how that goes. Of course, I'm using the Close to My Heart equivalent. So bear with me. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm gonna start with the first layer, and I learned not to drag from darker to lighter, so we'll see what happens. I think I'll go with that mango next. And just kind of go across, and this is gonna go like that. By spraying it with water, you can see that it's gonna be kind of forgiving. And then I'm gonna go with that lagoon color on the bottom. And this is either gonna be a hot mess, and I'll wish I never went live doing it, or you're gonna just see how, you know, you just gotta take a chance and try things. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and spritz it. And we're gonna see what happens with this color combo. I'm gonna just walk my fingers around. And wow, hey, that turned out really great. I love it. So if you haven't considered the Color Coach Stampin' Up wheel, I do send these out to my customers as thank yous when their orders have hit $500. So I've sent several of these out. Thank you very much. But this is how I just figured out how to use that color combo, and I'm really pleased with it. Well, while I have this inked up, I'm going to spray it one more time. and we'll get our second panel from it, okay? And I hope you'll come back to my blog this next week and see what I created with these two panels, because I can't let them go to waste. So this one came out a lot later, it's second generation, but again, it looks great. So I'll have to decide if I want to keep the panel whole or if I'm going to cut those down. Well, thanks for tuning in today to see how I created these first and second generation cards using our new painted stripes. Our water brushes are actually being discontinued, the manufacturer. I had bought one of the Stampin' Up! Water brushes because it did a nice wide line, but let me assure you, this is the way to go if you want a quick, fun background. Well, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know if you have any questions, and I appreciate you tuning in for my Wednesday workshop. I'll see you next week.